No place like the Cube. Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna Deshawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment.
Queer power, queer action, queer joy. One more time. Queer power, queer action, queer joy. All right, thank you.
Yes, that's right. Queer power, queer action, queer joy. That was the theme at last year's Creating Change. Yes, the chant was led by journalist and activist Raquel Willis during last year's conference. Now, I am preparing to head back to Creating Change this week to learn from and connect with 3,000 queers as we descend upon Vegas. Yes, family, we're going to Las Vegas for Creating Change. We have our booth again, and I'm going to be on a panel this year too as part of the first ever Creators for Change program. Wish me luck, okay? When you see me post about Creating Change, wish me luck. The panel is on Friday. It will be a time I cannot wait, and I got the opportunity to interview this year's MC, Tre'vell Anderson, about just that. Tre'vell is an award-winning journalist, podcaster, authoress, okay, and good friend of this show. Our interview is up on E3 Radio's YouTube channel, and I'd love for you to check it out. I put a link in the show notes. Also, family, please don't forget the Queer News tip line is open. Send in your story ideas you think I should cover. I love it when you send me these things because it is often that I have not heard about your story. Please send them in. Info on how to submit those is in the show notes. And Q Crew, what's going on? Thank you for your continued commitment to helping to sustain this podcast and this work. Thank you. How many times, how many ways can I say thank you? Q Crew, you help with the podcast hosting, editing, marketing, PR, travel, all of it. It's expensive to do this thing and to do it the way in which I want to do it, okay? And so, family, if you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, please consider joining the Q Crew. It starts as low as $5 a month, all right? A link is in, the show notes. Now for the news. In politics, today is Inauguration Day, when the 47th President of the United States will be sworn in. Let's talk about it. President Biden declares the ERA the 28th Amendment, but was the Constitution really amended? Let's talk about what it all means. In culture and entertainment, the Trevor Project is laying off staff and reorganizing. TikTok disappeared and then it came back. And women's basketball keeps winning, okay, with the launch of a new league called Unrivaled. Let's go. In politics, family, when this podcast drops on Monday, January 20th, 2025, it will be Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day for the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. What a juxtaposition. Maybe the most ironic juxtaposition of our time. I mean, I don't know of two opposite ends of the spectrum coming together on the same day like this ever. I mean, if two people could be on opposite sides of the political spectrum, it would be Dr. King and Donald Trump. On the other hand, it would have been just so poetic if VP Kamala Harris would have won and would have been sworn in on January 20th, like chef's kiss, okay? But alas, this is our reality. Here we are preparing ourselves for another 4 years of a Trump presidency. He will be sworn in at noon in the Capitol Rotunda. They have moved it inside because of the frigid cold sweeping across the country. The last president to be sworn in there was President Reagan, when temperatures dropped to 7 degrees with a wind chill of negative 25 degrees. So those who traveled to DC to witness the ceremony will be able to watch it from the Capital One Arena, where it will be streamed live. The presidential parade, which is usually going outside down Pennsylvania Avenue, will happen inside the arena. So many of the MAGA followers are disappointed, and that family, that brings me great joy. Their disappointment brings me joy. Yo, we got to find joy, okay, in the midst of all of this mess. And that's one thing that has really brought me to some joy, is seeing their videos about just how disappointed they are that they can't watch it live. Yep, it's the little things. And I ain't lying. Now, every major network will be covering the inauguration all day. So if you're like me and following our forever First Lady Michelle Obama's lead and absolutely skipping the whole dang on thing, I will say find a way to remember Dr. King today, yes. Take care of yourself today, rest, read, maybe stay off the internet. Get the Cliff Notes later, okay? I'll be back here next week. I can give you the Cliff Notes about what took place. Let's all just be very clear. We've got a long road ahead, okay? And today is just the continuation, all right? So just take care of yourself. We are all we got. And it's funny, I say that all the time, and I really want to just tell y'all what I mean by it, okay? What I actually mean by when I say we all we got. I'm talking about the 75 million Americans who voted blue. Okay? I don't want y'all to get it twisted. Only 77 million Americans voted for Trump. So it was 75 million to 77 million. That was the final count. It wasn't this big knockout punch that the media tried to make it out to be. It just wasn't. The Electoral College is just some jacked up racist system. Let's just be very clear about what that is. Please remember, 75 million Americans voted blue. So when I say we all we got, I'm also talking about the 92% of Black women who understood the stakes and the assignment. So when I say we all we got, that's what I'm talking about. And if you're listening to this podcast, yes, I'm assuming you part of one of those groups, the 75 or the 92. We all we got out here. Y'all see who performing at the inauguration ceremonies? I got to cancel Snoop Dogg now. Snoop, Nelly, Soulja Boy. I'm forgetting one of them. Family. I'm telling you, we are all we got. Capitalism is only loyal to money. So the work I'm doing right here, the work we're doing right here, hosting and producing the Queer News Podcast, couldn't be more important than on days like today. And in times like this. Our next story in politics, let's talk about the ERA. The ERA is the Equal Rights Amendment, okay? The ERA was first introduced back in 1923 by Alice Paul. Alice was a leader in the women's suffrage movement. Y'all, I'm talking about 1923, and I'm still talking about it right now in 2025. This is wild, okay? Now, the whole point of this amendment is to guarantee equal rights under the law for both sexes. It's just that simple. In very binary terms, men and women would be equal under the law. Very simple idea. And it's still being debated 100 years after it was first introduced by Alice. Like, really, family, do we really wonder why we are in the moment we are in right now? I mean, we can't even do that. Something so simple and widely accepted still hasn't been ratified after 100 years. Okay, so for some more political science talk, to make an amendment to the Constitution, you need 2/3 of both houses of Congress to vote in favor of the amendment. Then you need 3/4 of state legislatures or conventions must ratify the amendment. Okay, so that's just a little political science 101. So let me just give you a quick timeline of events as it pertains to the ERA. So it was passed by Congress March 22nd, 1972, okay? The ERA was given a 7-year deadline to be ratified by 3/4 of the states, right? So that's the next step. But by the time the deadline expired, 7 years later, only 35 states had ratified the ERA. You need 38, okay? Now, the ERA had been reintroduced in every session of Congress since 1982. That's before I was even born. Okay? Now, the House of Representatives has twice passed a joint resolution to declaring the ERA validly ratified. Okay? That was in 2020 and 2021. However, Republicans have used the filibuster to block the measure in the Senate. So this is when politics gets confusing and convoluted, okay? But you heard me mention that deadline passing, right? Well, that's really at the center of the debate. One side says that there was a date, while the other side says no time limit was ever included in the text of the Equal Rights Amendment. Well, on Friday, before President Biden leaves office, he declared that the ERA had in fact been ratified. He said, "It is long past time to recognize the will of the American people. In keeping with my oath and duty to Constitution and country, I affirm what I believe and what 3/4 of the states have ratified. The 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex." Now, he says that, but the National Archivist, who, keeps care of the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, those important documents, actually has to write that amendment into the Constitution. And that has not been done. But President Biden said it out loud and declared it. So what does that really mean? Well, Kiera Johnson, president of the National LGBTQ Task Force, said this when President Biden made this announcement. "Today marks a monumental victory for justice and equity and is progress in the fight for federal non-discrimination protections. President Biden's decision comes after organizations across diverse communities and movements advocated for the recognition of the Equal Rights Amendment. We have an opportunity to continue building constitutional infrastructure aimed at erasing gender-based disparities and reinforcing societal values that support opportunities for the most marginalized. LGBTQ communities have fought for this for decades, and the declaration comes in the midst of a rise in anti-queer and anti-trans laws." Okay, so you got one side saying it's happened because President Biden said so and because the states did in fact ratify. Virginia finally did it after 5 years to make it the 38th state that was needed. Then you got another side saying that the time has passed. You got another side saying there was no time. Family, this is when politics just gets confusing. But I will say this. It is very nice of President Biden, right, to come out and say this because the ERA is very important. But it also comes at the very, 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 very end of his presidency. His declaration has given no time to do political maneuvering that would give the National Archivist potentially the ability to officially add this amendment to the Constitution. And we know that this incoming administration could probably care less. So it's a bit of political fanfare to an extent, but it also feels like it have very big implications as it pertains to LGBTQ rights and abortion rights. There are definitely some constitutional experts who say what President Biden did kind of overrides the archivist. Child. Welcome to American politics. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I'll keep you updated as we hear more about the ERA. At the end of the day, it's important. It seems very simple. And yet, this is America.
Hi, this is Amy Pons with Women Making Moves, where we celebrate the moves that women are making. This podcast is all about the women of the world who are doing things differently, living, working, being, finding their unique brilliance. I tap into their energy, we share a safe space, and we get a little fun, a little spirited and animated. This is a place where we celebrate intersectional feminism and women on the front lines to create the balance between the divine masculine and feminine that we've never seen in this lifetime. And I invite you to explore your unique brilliance. Cheers.
Family, last week I had the opportunity to moderate a powerful panel with some of the country's most dynamic leaders that just happened to be based in Chicago. We talked about what organizing, advocating, and coalition building looks like in the hostile times we are living in. We discussed how their organizations are doing the work in real time, partnering with each other, supporting each other, being an ear when things get really, really hard. It's called LGBTQ plus rights in 2025 and beyond. And I must say, it is good. I moderate a lot of panels, but this one is worth tapping into. Over 200 folks have watched it so far, and you should too. You can stream the video from E3 Radio's YouTube channel, and of course, a link is in our show notes.
If you need health insurance, find an affordable quality plan on the Get Covered Illinois Marketplace. Our Get Covered Illinois navigators will help you enroll, and you could qualify for financial help. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. All plans have essential benefits to cover prescription drugs, emergency care, hospitalization, health screenings, and more. Visit getcoveredillinois.gov to enroll by January 15th.
Family, welcome back to the show. Let's get into some culture and entertainment news. First is about the Trevor Project, which announced they are downsizing and transforming. The Trevor Project is one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofits as the national LGBTQ youth suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization. Now, this organization employs around 600 people and has more than 3,700 crisis counselors who support LGBTQ youth every single day. Now, according to their reports, the Trevor Project's reports, they received more than 500,000 emergency calls and messages during the 2022-2023 fiscal year. 500,000. And given what we know about the state of the country, we can all assume that that number went up last year and will absolutely spike over the next 4 years. So the news of layoffs alongside an organization transformation came as quite the shock to everyone and the Trevor Project's union. According to NBC News, James Black, the organization's CEO who just joined last July, says that other than one massive government grant to support the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, that every other fundraising category, quote, came in under the budgeted revenue and has continued to decrease. James wrote and shared a letter on Friday that said there will be select roles that will be eliminated as part of this process. There will also be new roles, and we will prioritizing moving impacted staff into them. I'll repeat that one of our top priorities is to increase the number of staff providing direct support to LGBTQ plus young people on our lines. Some folks have felt understaffed, and we are planning to fix that. We all know how vital the Tre'vell Project is for our community. We also know what layoffs and reorganization can look like in real life inside a nonprofit. So I really hope the organization can figure it out because we all need them, okay? We all need the Trevor Project to survive and thrive and to take care of their people because their people are taking care of us. Now, for our next story, how can we talk about culture and entertainment and not talk about the biggest cultural story I've seen in such a long time? And it's TikTok, right? What a ride it's been. I've been getting my updates from V with Under the Desk News. Thank you, V, for all of your advocacy work as it pertains to keeping TikTok alive. Y'all, the TikTok funerals, did y'all go to one? Were taking place all weekend long with the app officially going dark. Like, did y'all see the message? It said, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned. Y'all, I saw that message and I was like, ooh, that's eerie. Ooh, this is a set up because our memories are so short. Trump didn't even want TikTok a few years ago, okay? But alas, here we are. And it wasn't long after it went dark, it reappeared. And they had a new message that read, welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the US. You can continue to create, share, and discover all the things you love on TikTok. Whew, how many feelings can be true at the same time? How many feelings can you hold that can be true all at the same time? So many. As a creator, as a journalist, as an independent creator and journalist, I have benefited greatly from TikTok. My journey started here on TikTok. This platform helped me to find my audience. When I quit corporate America 4 years ago, it helped me to find my voice. We have the biggest following here on TikTok. Now that it's back, it feels good. It feels a little icky that they bolstered Trump's name on these messages. Same way I feel about everybody who went down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring and make these massive donations to his inauguration. I mean, the same Trump that literally wanted to ban it. And now this all just feels like a bit of a stunt, doesn't it? A stunt that affects so many creators' livelihoods. And I think that that's the part that makes it feel so disingenuous. So disingenuous. I mean, I've seen the commentary online around, oh, we'll do all this advocacy for just an app, but not for all of these other things. And I really do think that that's unfair, especially when we consider that 7 million small businesses are on TikTok and consider TikTok a viable revenue stream, when you've got 1.3 million full-time content creators on TikTok, when TikTok is employing 234,000 people, right? I mean, it's an app, but it's not just an app. TikTok is a movement. It has significant economic impact on everyday people. It's been a vehicle for real political and cultural change. It is not just an app. But now, let us see how long they keep the lights on, yes? How long Trump wants to be a hero for this platform and where people move to. I know I'm moving to our newsletters. I'm going to be focused a lot on building audience outside of the platforms because we can see that it'll move at a whim, at their whim, even more specifically. And for our last story of the day, it's all about Unrivaled. The new women's basketball league kicked off on Friday, and I am all in. I am hooked, okay? This league was founded by two of the best to ever do it, Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. There are 6 teams: the Roses, the Vinyl, the Owls, the Laces, Phantom, and the Mist. They did such a good job with these names, okay? I am rooting for the Mist, okay? Because I like being a misfit. Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting for? Okay, I want to know. The game is so fast-paced. It's so much fun to watch. So entertaining. It's 3-on-3, and it's meant to be an opportunity for the ladies to play during the WNBA offseason. Yes, they're getting paid equitably. They have all the amenities. I feel like they've thought of everything. And it's given the women an opportunity to play here and not have to go overseas. Some of the best players in the world are playing in Unrivaled, and I love it here. In the midst of all the things happening in the world, watching women play basketball in a beautifully branded, equitable situation brings me a lot of hope and joy. It is going to get me through the next 8 weeks. According to the USA Today, the game-winning shot by Skylar Diggins-Smith in the first game was watched by more than 350,000 viewers on X and Instagram. The official TV numbers haven't been reported just yet, but I cannot wait to see them, okay? And I have personally been trying to keep up with their Unrivaled schedule, and it's been kind of hard. And I was putting games on my calendar and realized other people were probably feeling the same way. So I made a calendar. I added all the games and all the how to watch details. And I hope that you all enjoy it. I'm offering it to you all. If you get our newsletter, the link to the ICS file will be in there. Just download it and you'll have all the games on your calendar. Yes, I want us all to watch so that the ratings can be so high that they get bigger and bigger opportunities for these ladies, okay? So if you're like me, don't want to miss a game, want to support women's basketball, download the ICS file I made, okay? Like I said, it'll be in this week's newsletter. All right, family, it's that time. It's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. First, I'm still praying for LA. All of us, if you believe in the power of prayer, should be praying for lots and lots of rain to fall upon LA. Second, it feels good to be back doing our traditional episodes on the pod. I feel re-energized. I feel ready, yes, for the year. And given all the events of today, I think the best words should come from Dr. King himself. Even after all this time, all the times I've watched his speeches, read his words, they still give me chills today. So when you hear this excerpt that we're going to play to close out the episode from one of his many speeches, I want you all to remember that laws can't do for us what we must do for ourselves. The work we must do on the inside to know we are worthy of the equality, worthy of the equity, worthy of the equal protection under the law, worthy of love. We must release the self-hate. Yes, we've been taught. The shame, the stigma, we've been taught to hold. It's not for us. Let it go. These are the things that the law cannot fix. This is the time where we can look inward and take care of our communities, because we are what? All we got. So I hope this message from Dr. King gives you a little hope today. And then I'll talk to y'all next week, all right? Peace.
I come here tonight and plead with you.
All right.
Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. And as I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. Don't let anybody take your manhood.
Yes, sir.
Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. There's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna Deshawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall. And brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.